So in this episode, we are going to be talking about the different kinds of stress. There are three main different types of stress, and each one they have their own symptoms and their own different ways of treating it, of course. But stress altogether overall is a feeling that we get when we're struggling with a change or trying to cope with new challenges. Now, these new challenges could be from finance. If we don't make enough money or aren't making enough money to pay our own bills, we stress about that. We stress about different work issues, especially when it comes to deadlines. We're trying to hurry up and make those deadlines. Relationships, family matters, and the list goes on and on. Stress is a feeling that we perceive. Whether it is reality or not, only we can decide that. It's the body's natural defense against real or perceived dangers in our environment. So when we feel threatened, our body is flushed with chemicals that help prepare us for a flight or fight response. And the chemicals are called cortisol and adrenaline. So say you're out in the woods and you're hiking and you guys come across a bear, your body is going to flush these chemicals into your body. Your brain is going to flush these chemicals into your body. That is going to either help you fight this bear or help you run as fast away as you can from this bear. So because our bodies can't tell the difference of what is real or what is life-threatening, our body still is going to release those chemicals either way. So each type of stress needs to be dealt with in a specific manner due to the fact of each type of stress and its symptoms are different. Stress also needs to be dealt with differently because we all have our own different personality. We have our own little worlds and our environments. We have our own lifestyle. We have different coping resources that are available to us. And of course, developmental history of everybody is different. Nonetheless, there are three main types of stress, and they are acute stress, episodic stress, and chronic stress. And each one has its own symptoms, and that helps categorize it appropriately. So let's get into acute stress. Now, acute stress is usually brief, and it is the most common type of stress. And it's mainly caused by overthinking and overanalyzing certain situations that we are faced with in our lives. We tend to think negatively about recent events or upcoming events or demands in our near future. Like I said, such as like a big presentation, a sudden lifestyle change, school or work deadlines, things of that manner. So when the event passes, the stress usually tends to disappear as well. So while the stress is present, they can cause a great deal of mental and physical symptoms on the body. These symptoms can be present in any one of our lives at any given time. The good news is it is highly manageable and is oftentimes short term. So symptoms associated with acute stress would be feelings. It could be a combination of anger. It could be irritability. It could be anxiety, and it can even fester into depression. But acute stress can also affect our muscles, leading to tension in various parts of our body. And that can actually lead to severe pain. We can get pain in our neck, in our back, in our jawline. That's just to name a few, because when we're stressed out, our muscles tend to get tensed up a lot. But this muscle tension can also lead to other problems like pulled muscles, tendons, and ligament problems. Oftentimes with acute stress though, we can also get short-term stomach problems such as gut and bowel problems, acid reflux, constipation, flatulence, heartburn, and diarrhea. We can also feel chest pains. We can get our heartbeats start pumping faster, especially if our bodies are being pumped with adrenaline and cortisol. We can also have poor sleeping habits. We can experience chest pain and shortness of breath, just to name a few of the symptoms that are associated with acute stress. So episodic stress is basically the median of the three different types of stresses, and it is found in people who experience acute stress frequently, or even people who live with frequent stress triggers. And it affects people mostly that live in like a chaos. They live their life in chaos and crisis. There are main two types of personality traits associated with episodic acute stress. The first one is personality, and second is worrier. So with the personality trait, a person is just naturally excessively competitive. They can be impatient. They can have a continuous sense of time urgency and or aggressiveness. People with this personality oftentimes are strict about performance and they can respond with a lot of hostility. These type of traits can create frequent episodes of acute stress. So the second type of personality trait is the worrier. The worrier is the one that always thinks that the world is ending, everything that's going on is bad, and it is actually their core belief that the world is dangerous and unrewarding. They think that everything that they do is going to end up in a disaster, and they negatively forecast a catastrophe in almost every single situation. And the nonstop negative thoughts cause the episodic acute stress, and it can affect you mentally and physically. Now, worriers are unlike the personality trait, because worriers are less tense and anxious. They're more or less tense and anxious rather than angry and aggressive. So a few symptoms of episodic acute stress. They may experience emotional distress, and this emotion can cause anger, irritability. They can be impatient. They tend to be short-tempered, and they can experience anxiety and depression. They can also suffer from cognitive distress and have issues concentrating, and they have compromised processing speed and learning abilities. They can have issues remembering things and can suffer from mental fatigue. For the physical aspect, they can have muscle tension, as the same with the regular acute stress, and of course muscle tension. That's not good because it can lead to pulled muscles, tendons, and ligament problems. They can also experience stomach problems, gut problems, and bowel issues, heartburn, sweaty palms, heart palpitations, migraines, insomnia, and chest pains. Dealing with stress can cause immune system compromises and can lead to frequent colds, flu. They can be susceptible to allergies, more susceptible to asthma, and other issues that are dealing with the immune system. So let's go ahead and take a break right here, and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So we left off with the episodic acute stress. So we're going to finish on with the chronic stress. Chronic stress is the most harmful type of stress, and if left untreated for long periods of time, it can cause significant and irreversible damage mentally and physically, because mental and physical health are closely related to each other. Chronic stress can stem from prolonged trauma dating back to childhood. Traumas such as repeated abuse in any type of form, long-time unemployment, long-term poverty, dysfunctional family, unhappy marriages, poor working conditions, substance abuse, and things along that matter. Sufferers oftentimes feel a sense of hopelessness, and they feel as though that they can't escape the stress that they are going through, so they basically just give up. Now, it does have a lot of wear and tear on their body, and it's almost like it's ingrained in their being to live with the stress. It's like they have adapted to living with this type of stress that they go through on a daily basis. So it's kind of hard for them to even realize that there is a serious issue with the way that their lifestyle is, or even just how they feel. So of course, if you're stressed out for a long period of time, that can definitely be hazardous on your mental health, and it can lead to a mental breakdown that can lead to suicide, strokes, heart attacks, homicide, violent actions, and psychosis. So symptoms of chronic stress, like I said, a lot of the times the people suffering from chronic stress, they don't even realize that they have chronic stress. So it's kind of pinpoint on what exactly is the symptoms. But once they do realize that I do have like a serious problem, it is basically the same as acute stress. and it's just in a chronic manner. So the symptoms last longer and may be even harder to manage. Most sufferers of chronic stress, they don't even realize they have the stress and they have actually adapted to it. So that ends this episode. I hope you guys found a lot of value in this podcast. And just to sum up everything, everyone experiences some sort of stress in their lives at one point or another. Some may have experienced stress on a larger scales than others, and we have also experienced different symptoms than others. Stress affects us differently, but it is a natural occurrence that happens in our body to help us prepare for the flight or fight response. Even though we may not want it to, our bodies can't tell the difference between real danger or perceived danger when it releases cortisol and adrenaline into our bodies. So I just want to let you guys know that you are not alone when you're dealing with stress. There are ways that you can manage the symptoms as well. And you can also seek professional help if you feel as though it has gotten to a point that is out of your hands. It's also important to know what kind of stress you may be dealing with so that you can know what type of methods and treatments that are available to you. So in our next episode, we will be talking about different ways that you can naturally manage your stress symptoms. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. So until next time, I will see you guys later.